some of the people in Mumbai felt disappointed. If he didn't want to use the P word, he could have said, look, we know that India is affected with cross-border terrorism.
So you share the sentiment that he could have said more?
He could have said more, but I also share the sentiment that really what matters is what is effectively done. And that's what I said will be decided behind closed doors. We won't know.
All right, Pete, very quick comment from you. I've got Kalpana Sharma and Kiya Shah waiting for a really long time. You wanted to intervene, I think, when Manishankar Iyer was speaking.
Yes, I do want to say this. I mean, as far as the BJP's comment, I'll be very interested to see at the end of the visit here what those comments would be. And these are valid, and their expectations about what will the U.S. say about Pakistan. So I would also like to see at the end of the visit what transpired about that. But I think just as important, an issue that should be raised with President Obama is really the jobs here for Indians wanting to work in the United States. I think that it's been unfair how Indian nationals have been treated in the United States, how it's been difficult to obtain visas, how at times they were thwarted from opening up or expanding businesses within the United States. That is outrageous to me. That is something that needs to be addressed. Again, we are hurting for jobs in the United States, and if India has companies, corporations that are willing to expand or even invest, we should be welcoming them with open arms. We should be bending over backwards.
Okay.
Sadly, a lot of the people that were blocking that were members in the U.S. Congress. They just lost their jobs. If you want to talk about who loses jobs, they've lost their jobs. In January, there's going to be a new Congress and a new ability to work and do the right thing and see what they can do to increase Indian investment within the United States.
All right. Kalpana Sharma, watching all of this from Mumbai, and we've often said Mumbai and Delhi react very differently to the same events. How is your city, you think, reading Obama's first few comments? We'll play them out for Mani, who appears to have missed them again. But Kalpana, your thoughts?
Yeah, actually, I also missed them because I was on the way to your studio. But let me just say that, first of all, I think it's a generalization to say the people of Mumbai are disappointed. I mean, the people who maybe heard his speech at the Taj and a few others who watched television. So let's not generalize on this basis, as the media tends to do. And secondly, let me say that why don't we recognize that the manner in which this trip has been planned, obviously it's a kind of soft launch. He has come to commiserate and to commemorate what happened 26/11. He's going to Mani Bhavan. He's having a town hall meeting, and all the hard politics is going to follow in your city of Delhi, which loves politics, and it's Mumbai, which is the commercial capital, and therefore all the business of business is going to take place here. Yeah. And let's also be realistic that the business of business is what President Obama has come here about, as the American correspondents and others keep saying. So, why are we making such a big deal? I don't understand. Whether he said we should have referred to cross-border terrorism, the P word, etc., etc. I mean, as I see it, it's a very clever way of sort of softly getting into India and then dealing with the hard stuff when he gets to Delhi.
Rudy, given that your party first, in a sense, reinvented or reconfigured the relationship with the United States of America, do you share also the cynicism by Kalpana Sharma and to some extent by Manishankar Iyer on too much being invested in this relationship?
Well, if you look at the entire background with this particular government, and even our government for that matter, we did move for a very strong partnership with the United States of America, and there's no doubt about it. And I think that is being pursued by this government. But the relationship or the trade-off should be more equitable, and this is what is, or maybe if not equitable, at least it should be perceived. But here is a situation where one feels that in the present recession which is there in the United States of America, we possibly are being looked as if we are not partnering the whole thing. We are being rather used as a playground where business activities and business for US and what we have been hearing about outsourcing, what we have been talking about, purchase of weaponry, and so all this does give an impression. And over and above all this, if all this is okay, and there was a very emotional and a sentimental issue of terror, So even if it doesn't get balanced emotionally, then it's a big question which can be raised in course of time. So my point
Okay.
is this: it's not that we expect US to go and take some action there in Pakistan, but there is an emotional touch to what we are ready to share as a partnership on trade, on economy, on terror, is something which is missing. So
Let me get the panel to react to that. Raja, you want to say, then I'll go to Mani. Yeah. Is this a sort of, and Mani will beat me up for saying this, and we've got to get Sanjay Puri in also. Is this an old way of looking at things? That it's an old paradigm, which some may argue was the preferable paradigm.
I think there is a burden of the triangular relationship between India, US and Pakistan. So we're constantly reacting to that. I think the time has come for us to break from that. It's not a question of...
Can we?
Yeah.
I ask again and again, maybe we should, but can we?
I think we should.
In geopolitical
Yeah.
terms, is it realistic? You've got America in your backyard in Afghanistan. They may pull out in 2011. The conventional Indian position is that would be a terrible thing to happen. Though some others are arguing it would actually leave more maneuverability between Washington and Islamabad.
Yeah, I think the Americans will go at some point or the other. I mean, they're not going to stay here forever, but Pakistan is going to be with us next door. So I think the question is, we must try bilaterally what we can do with Pakistan. At the same time, see what you can mobilize internationally, the forces, to deal with the kind of forces that have gathered in Pakistan, that threaten Afghanistan, that threaten Pakistani society, and us, and the United States. So I think it's a way of looking at we must begin to look differently rather than, what are you doing it for me today? Constant, that question.
That
being thrown at them.
transactional approach. Mani?
Well, symbolically,
Yeah.
there were more people killed at the Chhatrapati Shivaji terminal.
That point
That
was
is
raised
where
in
the
the Modi,
ordinary
yeah.
Indian showed his resilience. I would have been much happier, but fortunately I'm not in protocol and I'm not the President of the United States, if the solidarity with our people as a result of the consequences of terrorism were to be expressed there rather than in a five-star hotel. That's one thing. The other is that the really imminent problem we have is of nuclear weapons falling into the hands of terrorists.
Yeah.
And nuclear weapons can fall into the hands of terrorists only if they exist. We have President Obama coming here after having got a Nobel Prize for the statement of an intent in Prague. And the language, I was looking at that speech very carefully, the bargain, as he put it, that's the word he used, the bargain that he placed before the international community in Prague, which is that all countries have the right to the peaceful uses of energy, those without weapons will not seek to acquire them, and those with them will work towards their elimination. That was the bargain he put. It's exactly the same as the bargain put by Rajiv Gandhi in 1988 to the United Nations on the action plan. Now, this is the 22nd year of the Rajiv Gandhi action plan. And that action plan said in 22 years, in 3 phases, we can dismantle nuclear weapons. So this is a golden opportunity. He comes to the land of Mahatma Gandhi, the same Mahatma Gandhi invoked in Oslo. He then
And today at Bombay, by the way.
and his going to
Yeah.
Mani Bhavan shows
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Now, he comes with the halo of Mahatma Gandhi looking over all of us. He comes to the land which has converted non-violence from a philosophy into a political tenet. He comes to the land which has advocated the elimination of nuclear weapons. He comes with the Nobel Prize in his hand for having advocated the elimination of nuclear weapons. And we know that the single biggest danger to the world today is not so much from interstate wars with nuclear weapons as from nuclear terrorism as a possibility. And that danger will be removed if there are no nuclear weapons. This is the moment when, if we want a real big bang breakthrough, it has to be on the elimination of nuclear weapons.